first topic we talk about. It's a big topic. It's worth probably 5 days of time. I'm getting another 10-12 minutes, so I'm going to keep it only to the top, really critical four elements that we talk around that. But emotional intelligence is, in the last, I would say, 10 years, one of the most sought after um, training program as well as skill within the new joinees as well as lateral joinees. The emotional fitment into the role is becoming more and more critical. How you handle yourself, how do you handle a stressful situation? Obviously, COVID enhanced that, yeah, because EQ became very, very, very important in an environment which is stressful, which is continuously stressful for a longer period of time, and that and this word or the term EQ was circulated in most of the discussion forums and the thought leadership articles around COVID time. So this got a lot of relevance. But let me explain what this is in a simple way, and before we start that, this is a quote that I got. It's not this person is a famous person now, was not a famous person earlier, but it's a very beautiful quote. It says, people will forget what you said to them. Yeah, they will remember it for a short period of time, but they'll forget. People will forget what you did for them, good or bad, but people will always remember how you made them feel. Yeah, the moment the feeling comes in, emotions get attached, and wherever emotion gets attached, it becomes personal. And if it's personal, it is staying with you, right? It could be good feeling, it could be bad feeling. A good feeling always stays, yeah, a bad feeling sometime always stays. So it says how you make you feel, so how do you treat them is important, right? One of the things that we were taught when we were young is you should treat people the way you want them to treat you, right? So if you're going for into a restaurant, you have to be respectful for the person who's asking and coming for the order, right? You can't use derogatory words or signals or whistles or whatever, right? That's you want them to be treated nicely, so you should also treat them nicely. How you make them feel, irrespective of level, irrespective of stature, irrespective of who they are or who you are at any point in time. So this is a very relevant point. This is the basis of a lot of emotional intelligence work that gets done. Now, getting into the emotional part, there are four big boxes that we need to cover, right? The four big boxes. So, first of all, is about self awareness. Yeah, how are you aware about what is good, what is bad within you, what triggers you, yeah, what does not trigger you, what are your motivators, what are your demotivators, what excites you, what doesn't excite you. So that's the self awareness. It says, it's this is what I see, yeah, and I know myself. This I can do, this I can't do, right? And what do you do with this? The action that you take based on that is self management. Yeah, what do I do with this? So I know I'm irritated by doing this. So what am I doing with that? Right? I know I cannot I cannot be around very confrontation people. Yeah, they confront me and then I take a backseat. What are you doing around that? Are you taking some action on it? Are you learning something? Are you avoiding those situations? Do you walk away from there? What are you going to do to solve it? So self-awareness is, you should be first aware. I think that's a big thing, that I'm going to lose my temper in the next 2 minutes. Yeah, that's self-awareness. What do I do with that knowledge is the self-management. And this is a big piece. This is a really, really big piece around emotional intelligence. The second box talks about, how do I know about my environment? Social awareness about others. Can I put myself in their shoes and figure out why they treated like this, why they said what they said, how they feel? Yeah, would I feel the same way, and so on and so forth. So that's my social awareness. And what do I do with this is my social management, which is relationship management. Yeah, so knowing myself, what do I do with it, knowing the outside world, and what do I do with this to make sure that the relationship building is there. So sometimes we are so, I would say, narrow in our thinking that we don't see what's happening outside, right? There are a lot of instances where we react instantly, and there is a reason to that, and they kind of tell you that your emotional part of the brain comes first, the logical part comes later. So the first emotion hits in, and then your rush of blood happens, and you take action, you say things, you do things, you react in a way, and within the next 10, 15, 20 seconds, or maybe a little more, yeah, the moment that thing reaches your logical brain, it says, we've done something wrong, and you repent that, but it's already too late, because either you said something which you can't take back, or you did something which you can't take back, or you already sent a mail that you thought instantly it has to go in, and now you will probably recall it or try to do whatever it needs to be done. So this is a big piece: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness. The whole EQ is around that. Now it sounds simple. How do I know my social awareness levels? How do I know my self awareness level? Now, if you go out and search, there are lots and lots of assessments which are available now, which were not there 10 years back. But over the years, there are a lot of assessments. Some of them are Indian, some of them are American, some of them are across the globe, which give you a score on each one of those four parameters. It also gives you a benchmark score of how your role is as against the rest of the roles. So if you're a project manager, yeah, you're a product manager, you are one of the IT directors, how is your level as compared to, let's say, a benchmark level? Are you good? You need to improve, you need to go down. What is it need to do? So there are a lot of assessments available. You can find that out. It also tells you what to do in each case. So there could be certain activities that you can do, there could be certain exercises that you can do, there could be certain self containing activities that you can do to control it, and also communication, right? So this is one big piece. But how does it help? These four boxes, if you do, help you in effective decision making at that point in time. Yeah, not be emotionally aligned, not be logically aligned, but how do you take a decision? Now people say that most decisions either are through the heart or through the brain, right? It's logical or emotional. Yeah, and you justify either one. So if you've taken a decision which is emotional, you can justify it. If you've taken a decision which is very logical, you can justify. If you see people around you, they are very different type of people. Some people are very logical in most of the cases, and they will look at logic first, then emotions. There are other people who will put emotions first, then logic. It doesn't, why they bought this is because of emotion, why they are doing this because of an emotion, there's no logic. So again, your decision making depends on who you are as a personality, more emotional or more logical, right? The way you collaborate with people, you understand what they're thinking, you can preempt what their reaction could be, and that will make you a much better personality and much better person to collaborate. Yeah, you could be a much better leader. Leading change, again, I have to have a very open mind to be a leader in change, and I have to also make sure that others understand why this change is important. So leading change is again one of the big leadership areas, which emotional intelligence kind of work very very closely on, right? So this is very very, sorry about that. So communication skills, yeah, again, how you communicate with people, what words do you use, your choice of words is very critical from that perspective. Empathy, again, do you empathize with people? And we have an empathy, like again in COVID we had seen so much of I would say deaths across the world, that it was so difficult for people to empathize, and kind of say the right thing. So again, saying the right things at the right time. And conflict, you are in a confrontation situation. How do you handle it in the most logical way, in the most apt way, without fighting or killing each other, right? So how do you manage conflicts? How do you work out a solution and not avoid it from a point of view?